Hey guys, welcome to iTradePrice. Let us get started for our weekly charts and commentary. But before we get into the details for the and reading the charts and everything, I just want to quickly review some of the recent plays. The idea is so that you guys can understand the thought process and how to execute the trades, the chart setups, and the alerts that we kind of post. Uh, because what's the point of having a service if you're not going to take advantage of that? So, for example, uh, let's start with some of the swing trades, right? So, on January we got in solo, right? Based on this setup, and you can pause the video, read the notes later on. But we got into solo, and solo has been doing consistently nice, and on Thursday it made a nice uh, bullish day. It made an inside bar on Friday, still okay, still looks to be going up. However, I took majority of the shares out, but looks okay, right? It's very nicely consolidated here between 7 and 8, and then I just kind of took out that $9 resistance and closed above that on Thursday and gave it a little bit back. And inside day still looks nice. Another trade we did was ITSI. Again, we got into it on Monday based on this setup. It was right on the trend line, showing some bottom wicks, and was closing consistently above 20 EMA in the daily chart. And we got a really nice move out of this one in ITSI. So this is the place where we got in on Monday. Again, it gave a bottom wick, and then since then it just made higher lows and higher highs and closed very strong. And almost, if you had gotten in Monday towards the low end, you would have captured almost $40 worth of move per share in this thing. It was a very good trade. So already trimmed and closed this one. So out of ITSI. Another setup I believe we shared was Apple. Although I would have gotten heavy in Apple if it had dropped between 128 and 126, but the idea was to start accumulating starting from Monday. So the target was 135.5. I think we did go above that all the way to 139, which was almost the second target, 140. The chart still looks okay and good. So yeah, that's how we kind of do all our homework. And also, recently, few of the members had reached out saying that they want the option alerts as well, because yes, learning is part of the platform, they like it, but they just don't have the time to analyze the chart. They just want to see the alert, they just want to be told that when we are getting into a trade. So uh, Annie and I think are going to start doing that, and but still we will share the morning setups, because we just believe that you need to know and understand why we are getting into a trade that will give you confidence. But going forward, do expect those option trade alerts as well. So, for example, this past week, uh, we traded some of these options here on each of those days, uh, but not blindly, right? So, for example, 2nd February Tesla. Okay, let's go and see what we posted about Tesla on that day. If it can go back. Okay, so let's go to 2nd February all the way down. Sorry, it's a little slow, I think. When you're making a video and all that stuff, it just acts slow. So here is 2nd February. Okay, so Tesla also running today, gap filled at 860, can keep running above. And I think we had told in the morning that you can try 900C. And actually, let's say, when did the actual alert came out? Let's say Tesla trying 900C here, 9:45, February 2nd. Let's see where the price was at that time for Tesla, right? Uh, let's open Tesla. Let's get into maybe like a 5-minute chart, okay? And here is 2nd February. Okay, This is the second. So 9:45 something, right about here, right? So it made, there you go. I'll just kind of zoom in a little bit. So it made the, let me have a little tool, it'll help me. So 9:45 is right here, right? So let's say it took you 5 minutes to get into a trade, right? You get the alert, you open your platform, you find the contract. If you already don't have it, but you should have it if you're day trading it. It's just the options move fast, but let's say, you know, it took you 5 minutes. So good 5 minutes, consolidated, and then it went all the way up till 880, right? So almost a $20 move right here, right? That's a $20 move. So you could have really captured a nice gain there. Another trade, let's take a look at same day that we traded, was, I believe, snow, right? So we traded snow. Let's take a look at that. Snow 330C, right? 2nd February again. Let's see, where is the alert for that? Snow looks good, can bounce towards stay high at 303. Above that is 308. So where is that? Right there. When was that? 10:59, right? 11 a.m. Eastern, right? So let's go take a look at what snow did at 11 a.m. on 2nd February. 11 a.m. is right here, okay? So it made right there. So it ran about good, what, $8. So the target was 308, but it ran a little bit above that as well. So that was the resistance now that we were looking to play calls above that resistance in the coming days, but I think it never kind of reached that level after we did that. But anyways, the point is, we always like to share the setups in the morning and those important key levels, but as the day opens up, you will hear from us these sort of pre-alert commentary or notifications telling you that, hey, the price is coming up, get ready, and this is the particular option that we will get into. So look for those kind of notifications, and hopefully you guys will be able to play them, right? So when was this? February 3rd. Again, this was shared pre-market, right? Looking for a move above 856 TTD, February 3rd, right? Okay, so, and when it triggered, got an 880C as per the plan, 934, right? So shared the sort of pre-alert before the market opened, and let's go see what happened in the TTD on February 3rd. So here is the chart, right? It opened up kind of 845, and we were looking to get into calls above 856, which was the pre-market high, right? So right about somewhere over here, you should have gotten in. It gave you a little dip after kind of exploding from that level. So still, if you had few minutes, 5-10 minutes to get into the trade, and it ran up nicely, right? Ran up what, $15 from that price level, all the way to like 875. So, and then it chopped all the way. So again, if you're playing options, the expectation is you would trade quickly. Otherwise, yes, the stock can remain elevated for the day, but your option will lose value because of the theta, right? Because of the decay. So if you're not coming out quickly, it's not really. Okay, so now let's get started and review some of the charts that we are looking for trading next week, and some of the core charts that we always like to kind of keep under our review. So here's the weekly chart of Amazon. Earnings were out, sort of disappointing price action, right? Killed both the premiums for calls and put holders. Didn't really go anywhere, right? Still in this I don't know, just range, I would say. You know, I personally think there are better charts to trade out there than this one. So but if you like to trade this one, it's still, yeah, from weekly perspective, making a higher high, higher and higher low, but not really running right now. It could be in the future, but for right now, it's just kind of choppy and just gives up any strong move to the upside. I personally think there are better charts to trade out there than this one. Okay. Okay. Apple still nicely in the uptrend, holding this weekly uptrend line, that purple line you see right there. However, notice that on the weekly chart level, the the this pattern is called dark cloud cover, right? Where you have this past the bearish trend bar closes below the 50% of this previous bullish bar, right? So we did see that, but it bounced up a little bit here, Apple, but it's not, towards its highs, right? Like Nasdaq is, for example. So it is relatively weaker stock, right? So just kind of be cautious if you're playing this on the long side. I personally think if it drops towards 128 to 126, which is this support level right here, it's a better buy here, just from risk and reward perspective. But we'll see how it acts in the lower time frame. Let's get into the daily time frame. So still okay, looking fine, making these smaller moves to the upside, right? We had this support, and then it made this little support at 133 area, and then just kind of trying to bang against this 137.5 resistance zone, right? Everybody's watching this 138 level on FinTwit, and they're like, hey, if it goes above 138, it's good for 141, and then 142, which is the swing high, sort of the resistance zone. And if you drill down into lower time frame, can be at this channel top here as well. So we'll play it, sure, but if it gives a fake out here at 138, goes above it, fails, comes down, then definitely you can target the lower levels at 133 and this trend line right here, or this 50 SMA, which can kind of catch up as well. So just kind of be open to playing both sides of this trade. Here's the chart of BYND in the weekly time frame. It made a really nice big move the previous week, but gave up a lot of that move and closed that week with the top wick. This past week, we couldn't really see any upside follow through. In fact, 181 was the highest it traded for this past week. And just still an inside week, right? But it would be an inside week because it was such a long bar before the previous week. So still for the past few days, range bound, consolidating here between 176 and 163, I would say, for the most part, right? So good $13 range. But if you are just to read the price action for this one, right, we made this big move up and then gave up a lot of that move towards the gap fill area. We had this big bearish day and did not see any follow through to the downside, right? In fact, we are just kind of this sideways to slightly up move. So if we open weak here on Monday, like right about 163 support, and we don't give up that level, in fact, if we rally hard and go above 171, that's your buy trigger, right? That's your buy trigger that this thing is getting strong and it can go all the way up till 181, at least the first resistance. Or if it opens up here somewhere in the middle and gives up this 165 level, it can definitely try this 163 all the way to 156.2 as the next support level. You can target that, and that's where this 20 SMA will also kind of catch up and can provide some bounce. Okay. Facebook weekly chart. It was in this longest consolidation. It broke down, then came back up for the earnings, and then after earnings, it just kind of gave up all of that kind of big bullish move towards 285 level, and sort of an inside week, previous week sideways. Not much action unless we kind of get out of this 270 to 255 range. You know, it's not really doing much. Let me drill down to a daily time frame and see if it gives us any clues. So right here you can see this was the big move down after the earnings, right? And we bounced nicely from this 254 spot, which was the support right here, and also some resistance, and then that's exactly where we found the support past week, and it bounced nicely. But now it's sort of range bound for the past 4 days between 269 and 263, really tight, not doing anything. The good thing is, yes, that it's kind of consolidating, but all the closings are above 20 SMA, which is this yellow line right here, and a little bit of bottom wicks. But just cautious that for a bullish move, we need to get above 269. Okay, that's the first thing. And then we have this 50 SMA just below 271. So even if we move above this level, you have to see where it closes that day, right? Because this 50 SMA can be a resistance. If we move up, that's nice. But if we move down, look for this 263 to be at least the first touch bounce. But then if we give up that one, because a lot of market participants could be long here with the stop loss at 263 level, right? Because we have this this zone where it was trading for the most part. So if we give up that, expect a flush down towards 254, right? So that can come fast, and that's when we'll see if it bounces at least for the first time, because it has multiple touch points there. Okay, here is the chart of snow. Earnings are still about a little less than a month away. The stock has held this 264 level on multiple occasions since the past 2 to 3 months. Here you have one touch point right here, there's one right here, which was the breakout, right? And then we have this touch point right here. I like this setup because number one, it broke this downtrend line, which is much nicely visible in the daily time frame. So you can see it broke this downtrend line. It consolidated here below the trend line, and then eventually it kind of broke out of that nicely this past week and did not see much of a follow through to the upside, but it is making this sort of a flaggish pattern, right? So look for a close above 310 in the daily time frame, and then we can target 327 nicely, which is a swing high, and we have these multiple touch points in that price range as well to play against, and that can be a good measure target as well, right? Because this is the flag, here's the pole, right? So the height of the pole becomes the target, and then we can kind of have that measured target. So as long as we're above 286 290 price, above the 20 SMA, holding those levels, it looks nice. Nothing wrong with the chart. Let me drill down into a lower time frame and see if it gives you a little bit of better view. So yeah, that's the breakout. Gave up a little bit of move, but holding nicely. Did not really come all the way down. Did not go all the way down below 290. So $299, $300 is providing good support. So look for early next week, a move above 310.8 to kind of feel bullish on this name once again, as it can start running towards 327. Okay. Netflix, disappointed for the most part after earnings, right? It had a big earnings gap up, and then did not see even 1 day of follow through to the upside. In fact, it just gave up all that move. But recently it has come out of this down channel that it was making since the earnings, but this 555 556 has been a tough level for it to break, because that's where it broke down from, and since then it has tried multiple times but just not getting traction, right? Friday was an inside day, small body with long bottom wick. So let's see if it holds 545 or even 538, right? Because we have good support, good 3-day support there. So if we get above 556 again, that's a nice bullish move, and you can see it in the lower time frame, the 30-minute time frame. The channel here is much more clear. We are making these sort of sideways to slightly up move, and 556 is pretty much visible that this is the level that we need to break, the bulls need to break, to kind of get going back above towards the channel top here. It could be 564 level, based on this channel right here. Okay, so look for that. Neo is another name that I'm really liking the setup here. The weekly chart, nice, nothing wrong with it. Yes, you have the bearish days, but those weeks don't get any downside follow through, right? It's holding this 56, 55 level very nicely. If it wanted to break down, it should have done that already, but it's providing this 9 SMA in the weekly is providing good support. 555, nice. Let's look into the daily time frame. Yeah, I mean, it's consolidating sideways congestion zone in this big sort of 60 to 55 $5 sort of range. So once we see a closure back above, I would say the 20 SMA, which is this yellow line, right? Because we have all these closures right here below 20 SMA, which is the yellow line here. So once we see a close above that in the daily time frame, which will be if and when it closes above 59, or makes a move above 59 even in a daily time frame, or if you drill down to a lower time frame, let's do that. It could be a nice setup, because a higher time frame looks pretty good. It's making this big bull flag kind of a price action pattern, right? This one right here. So looking for this 59 level, right, which is a swing high. So once this one gets out, definitely can play it towards 62, and eventually if 62, 63 comes out as well, it can run, right? So and continue, and a major target can be the height of this one right here, which is about 60, let's say about $15 to $20. So that can be another $15 to $20. You're talking about $80 at least a target on a medium term basis for this one. Okay, so that can be a good swing play as well to enter. BA overall, not bad. I like the chart because you can see it's sort of this it was trading in this channel. This is a weekly chart, right? So let me bring the levels out. There you go. Okay, so it's holding this 191, right, for the past 2 weeks nicely, and this 20 SMA in the weekly also provided support, right, as it would bounce right from there, which was the breakout level as well. So we made this move down here, and now we had the first closure, weekly closure above this down channel line, right? Let's get into the daily time frame. Here is the daily channel, and we have this first closure above the channel here, right, above the 20 SMA, and now we have this 50 SMA as a test, right, for a medium term holder, medium term investor, if you're looking. So even if we move sideways, and as long as we hold this 20 SMA, which is 205, 206 level for this previous day support, as long as we hold that on a closing basis, I'm bullish. I think we can see at least 216 or a test of this 50 SMA, which is this sort of this price range around 215 to 216. So and who knows what happens after that? It can even go higher to 221, but I'm leaning bullish as long as we are above 205, right? If it goes back down here and then bounces back up, that would be a nice retest of this broken channel as well, which will also be bullish again as well. Okay, so look for that kind of price action. Let's see BABA. Everybody was looking to play this one above 268. It did move above 268, but couldn't really close above that. It was just an intraday move. So that level is important because there's some gap to be filled right here, and then we have these multiple touch points here, right? 1, 2, sort of like 3, and then there's 4. So that 268 to 270 is an important area. If we move above that, really good one. and then we can move all the way to 280, which is the resistance from back in November time frame. Okay. SQ weekly chart, bullish, nice. It gave a really bullish range breakout failure trade, right? Which was, the trade was that you have this weekly range, right? Because the bars were closing within the previous week's body, right? Or range, I would say. So, and then this one we kind of broke down, right? But with a bottom wick, but still it went broke down. But this past week we opened low, but the buy trigger was the high of this setup war, right? So 225 was the level. It really made a good bullish move above that with the bullish trend bar in the weekly time frame. So really strong price action, and I think PayPal also has a role in this because their earnings were pretty good, and kind of PayPal and Square moves sort of in a similar fashion. You can see higher lows, higher highs, nothing wrong with the chart, still in a nice uptrend and up channel. There are multiple ways to play this one. I think next week we'll see, but better buys are definitely a pullback buy because you don't know if the breakout fails or not. But to give yourself some room, it's always good to buy this kind of a name on a pullback. Okay, let's take a look at Goldman Sachs. Played this one past week as well. It was bullish as it held the weekly support here at 270 and made a nice move up. On a bullish, on a weekly time frame, the read was not that good. But then if you drill into the daily time frame, really you can see how it closed and made a nice move above the down channel with a gap up, right? And it just kind of blew through one moving average to the other. I mean, really nice big bullish bar on Tuesday, and then a nice follow through to the upside to close the week nicely and strong, right? So the level to watch now is 297.3 area, because we have 1 and 2 touch point right there. And if we break above that as well, the swing high comes on around 307, 306.6. So look for that area as a target. And it's closed above the 20 SMA in the daily time frame for the past 2 days. So look for that as least as the support on any pullback towards 289. Okay. All right. Hope you guys like this week's video. If you have any comments, feedback, or if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Okay. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Take care.